Hey guys, it's Marissa. So in today's video, I'm actually participating in the palette tag that's from Just Jessica. She mentioned me in her video and tagged me to do the challenge as well. So thank you so much, Jessica, for inviting me for this collaboration. So I'm just going to be showing you guys my favorite palettes and which one is the best one in my opinion, just so you guys can see why it's my favorite and why all the colors in it are super pretty as well. So like one of my most used palettes is honestly the James Charles palette, and it's just because of all the different colors in it. I think that you can go from like the pretty neutrals or to like the bright colorful ones. So it's like a day or all night palette, and I just think all the different colors and everything are just super pretty. The first one that I wore all the time was the Jaclyn Hill palette, and this was actually my very first Morphe palette, and I just used to wear this all the time for dances and stuff, and it's just a really good formula. This is the original formula from when it first launched, so I still have it, and I use it all the time whenever I'm going out somewhere for a while because it just does not crease or smudge. So I really like the colors in this. There's a lot of more warmer tones, but there are a few cooler tones as well. Lately that I've been using every day for just like a light makeup look is actually the little Colourpop Frozen palette, and it's just because of these pretty shimmery shades right here. Like this one specifically I always use for my eyelid just because it's very natural. You can see like the shimmers and stuff in different lighting, but I just really like this palette just because of those shades. The one palette that I honestly do not regret buying at all because of one specific shade, and it is the Candy Peaches palette by Jacob and Eli. Now the one shade in particular that I really love is this really pretty golden yellow shade. It's the shade Lollipop, and honestly this is literally worth the money just for that one shade right here, because whenever I have like a look that has yellow or gold, I always go to this specific palette, and it's just like super creamy and easy to apply, and you don't need any kind of glitter primer for it. My most recent palette is actually two because I bought it within the same transaction, and it is the Juvia's Place palette, which is the Zulu by Juvia's, and the Kylie Jenner palette, which is the Sorta Sweet palette. Now these are both really pretty, but also like completely different because this one's like super pretty for nudes, and I just really like the style of it too, and it's just super small, so you can just travel with this a lot easier. And then for the Zulu by Juvia's, I really wanted to try this because this is actually my very first Juvia's Place palette by them, and all the shades are actually super pretty and just pigmented, and like the shades themselves are like super big as well. Like they give you a lot of product for the money that you pay for, and I literally don't have complaints with either of these. They're both super pretty. My least favorite palette is the Milani palette, and I've done a video on this one specifically previously, and I just really don't like the shades. I don't think they look very good on me or my skin tone, but like the shades themselves, I just feel like they smudge super easily, they crease really easily as well, and I just don't think that whenever you swatch the colors from the pan, they like kind of like oxidize a little bit. Like they're just kind of cheaply made. But maybe I just got like an expired palette, I'm not too sure, because whenever I look at other people who reviewed it, they have pretty good reviews on this, so I'm not too sure what happened, but I just don't think it's for me specifically. My two holiday palettes that I have is the Pure and Grinch collaboration of their palette, and also the Too Faced Gingerbread Extra Spicy palette. And I really like the Pure Grinch one the best because this is honestly good for all year round, and the palette itself actually smells like kind of like a cocoa butter kind of scent, and it's just really pretty, and the palette and the packaging is really cool. So this is like what the palette kind of looks like. It's like a little box, and it's really cool because when you open it, it's like a little pop-up stand, and I just think that's really cute and really pretty. And so it also comes with like a little mirror and stuff too, in quotes from the movie. But the actual palette, you can slide it out this way. And as you can see, it's like this really cool golden heart. And it also comes with a color changing lipstick in the middle. It actually looks green, but then once you actually swatch it onto your skin, it's pink. So I'll just show you on my hand how it looks green, but then once I swatch it, it's like a pinkish tone, and it's very light pink. But it's like super pretty, and you can kind of see it on this as well. And not only does it have like actual eyeshadows in it, but it also comes with like a highlighter and also a blush, so you don't have to like grab a bunch of different things when getting ready. And there's two pressed glitter shades right here as well, and those work really good also, and I just think that all of these are super pigmented and worth the price. My very first palette that I've ever gotten that's like the high-end kind of palette is the Too Faced Sweet Peach palette, and honestly this is very used. I used to use it every single day in high school when I was like a freshman and just starting out in high school, and like you can see that a lot of the shades in the pan are actually completely fallen out because I've just used it so much, and you can see a lot of these shades here are starting to become empty as well, but I just really like this. I just think all the shades are super pretty, and you can just wear this for like an everyday look. There's a lot of nudes and neutrals in here as well, but also just like those slightly pink colors are just super pretty, and those are the ones that I'd wear like almost every day. This is like the only palette that I have that's actually based off of like a movie. Obviously this is from Mean Girls, and I just think that this is super cute and super pretty as well. All the shades in here are just really nice and very matte. I think there's only like 1 or 2 shades that are shimmery, but yeah, this is a mostly matte palette. And I haven't dipped into this too often, but whenever I do, I usually use like the orangish shades. And like I just think that this is a super cute and pretty palette as well, and the packaging is really nice because it looks like a book. And like when you open the palette, it opens like a book also, and I just think it's super cute. I really like this top green shade right here, and it's in the shade Gruel, so like whenever I swatch that, it's just super pretty, and like I've never really seen a shade like this before in any of my palettes. It kind of almost looks like a goldish shade, but it's not, so I just think that this would look really pretty with any kind of grungy makeup looks. Another palette that I use really just for one shade is the Subculture palette by Anastasia Beverly Hills, and the shade that I really like to use the most is Cube, but there is one more other shade too as well that I kind of like, which is the shade Electric. And those are like the 2 shimmery shades in the palette. You can definitely tell that I dip into it a lot if it focuses. I don't know if you can tell, but the pan is pretty empty. And this Cube shade, it's like white, but when you swatch it onto your skin in certain lightings, it's kind of like this pinkish tone, and it's just very light but super pretty as well for any kind of like pink makeup looks. And then the shade Electric is kind of similar to this one, but it has a little bit more shimmer to it, and you can just see that those 2 colors side by side, like they would look really pretty together. My most expensive palette, I have to say, is actually the Bloodlust palette by Jeffree Star. Now, I'm actually kind of surprised that this is my most expensive palette, but really it's the most expensive by like $2. The Conspiracy Collection is like the second most expensive, but this was $54, I want to say, and this is a really cool and pretty palette as well. It definitely has like a lot of purplish and cooler tones in it. And the shades that I really love, again, are like the shimmery shades, which is like this Beauty Sleep shade, Wet Jewel, and also Pink Magic. And those are also like Jeffree's new like formulas that he used, and this is when he first started using them for his palettes, and those are honestly like my most favorite ones. And now my most favorite palettes are the Conspiracy palette and also the Mini Controversy palette. Now the reason why these are my most favorite palettes, if you haven't seen in the past, I tried so hard to get my hands on these, and I just think that these are really cool because they have like a backstory to it, and there's like a series and stuff where you can just actually watch to see how this was made and how it was created. And I just think that's really cool and unique because not all palettes have like a little series where you can kind of watch like a documentary of how it was made. So I just really think that's cool of like why we know like the purpose of it and just like the steps that it took to actually manufacture this. But yeah, if you just want to see how I did this makeup look, then just keep on watching. But if you just want to see how I did this makeup look with these, if you want to just see how I did this makeup look with these palettes right here, then just keep on watching. To create a base for my eyes first, I'm taking the Covergirl concealer stick in the shade Neutralizer, and I'm just applying that to my eyelids and then just blending it out using my finger. Then from the Conspiracy palette, I'm taking the shade What's the Tea, and I'm just applying that a little bit above my crease using the Morphe M574 brush, just so that way it's a nice transition to the darker colors. From the Mini Controversy palette, I'm taking the shade Cancelled, and I'm just applying that to my crease and buffing it out using an Ulta round brush. Then I'm buffing and blending everything out using the Morphe M321 brush, and then using that same brush, I'm going to be applying the Simulation shade, which is like a darker shimmery blue from the Mini Controversy palette as well. I'm just going to be applying that to my inner crease and also the outer corners of my eye. Then I'm taking the shade Diet Cola from the Conspiracy palette and just applying that using my finger. Using an e.l.f. concealer brush, I'm taking the shade My Ride Is Here from the Conspiracy palette as well, and I'm just really applying that closely to my lash line and just kind of buffing out like a smoked out eyeliner wing. And I just really like this effect better than normal eyeliner because it creates more of like a matte effect and it's just more blended out and smokier. Then I'm taking a Clinique makeup remover wipe and just really trying to clean up any kind of fallout that I have underneath my eye and just sharpen the outer edges of that eyeliner wing. And then I'm just going back in one more time just to add as much pigment as possible if I lost any. For concealer, I'm just going to be putting on light coverage for today, so I'm using the Maybelline New York Instant Age Rewind Eraser Concealer, and it's in the shade Ivory, and I'm just going to be applying that to any redness or dark spots that I have on my face, and then I'm just blending everything out using a Real Techniques Beauty Complexion Sponge. Using an Ulta blush brush, I'm taking the Ulta Beauty Blush Duo, and I'm just using the bronzer and blush that's given in that little compact duo, which is in the shade Walnut and Cherry Blossom. From the Conspiracy palette, I'm taking the shades Spiraling and Just a Theory, and I'm just applying this to my brows and just trying to fill them in as much as possible using an angled brush. Then I'm just applying those same blue shades from my eye look to my lower lash line using an e.l.f. concealer brush. The highlighter that I'm going to be using is the shade Ranch from the Conspiracy palette, and I'm just applying this to the highest points of my face using the Morphe M433 brush. For mascara, I'm going to be applying the Ulta Maximum Lashes Defining and Lengthening Mascara in the shade Jet Black and just applying that to my top and lower lashes. And then to just separate them a little bit more and to create more volume, I'm taking the Clinique High Impact Mascara in the shade Black and I'm just applying that as well. To finish off with the lips, I'm going to be taking a matte nude lipstick by NARS, and I'll link everything that I'm using in the description below if you're interested. And I'm just applying that first, and then afterwards taking the e.l.f. Jelly Pop Juicy Gloss, which is in the shade Fresh Strawberry, and then that is the completed look. So I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. This is actually my second attempt of recording this because I was going to just record this off of my camera, which I did, but for some reason the microphone wasn't working on it and the microphone just ended up muting the whole volume and the sound of the overall video. So I just kept the snippets of like me doing the makeup. So this is on like a totally different day. I redid everything of like me reviewing the palettes. That's why some of the lighting and stuff was a little bit different compared to like the previous clips. But yeah, I hope you guys still enjoyed today's video. If you're interested to see more videos from me in the future, then you can just subscribe down below. Or you can hit the notification bell so you're notified of every single time that I upload. I upload on Wednesdays and Sundays at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'll just see you guys next time. Bye!